we've talked about the laying foundations. Now I want to talk a little bit about the getting started. And I wanted you to delve deep into using Twitter. You have mentioned or shared with me in the past fantastic five-step process for getting started on Twitter. And I was hoping you would share with our audience
Yeah, of course.
exactly what those 5 tips for marketing yourself using Twitter would be.
Okay, so once you get your head around why to use Twitter and you've got your ducks in a row, here's a really great 5-step decoder. You can run with this right now. I'll run you through the 5 steps and then I'll decode. So the first one is be a resource, not a salesperson. 2, write a strong bio. 3, add a photo. 4, remember the 80-20 rule. It's not all about you. And 5, share, share, share. This is Twitter 101. So I talk about this all the time, and I've been interviewed many, many times about this now, but I want to really pull this apart for the purposes of this video series. Be a resource, not a salesperson. This is so important. Talking about Gary Vee, we did that in the first video. Gary Vee never talks about buying stuff. He's just a brand. He's a fun guy that talks about wine, and he's passionate about what he does. And because of that, you want to hang around him. You want to buy his stuff. But he never actually directly asks you. And this is the secret. It's hard to get this balance right. What's your take on this, Chelsea? I really want to get your take on this idea of...
I absolutely agree with you. I can agree more when we're talking about the internet space and when we're talking about the fact that you can't just sell yourself. You'll be thought of as spammy. People will tune you out. You can upset or frustrate people with that kind of behavior. It really is, you're a person who has a certain set of knowledge and expertise, and sharing that, and it can be with your passions, your hobbies, it can be with your career, with your particular field, industry, whatever that is, you want to share that information because it will resonate and in like simpatico with somebody else who's found you using that keyword like you spoke about earlier, finding you in that particular space on that keyword or that topic, that's what you're there to contribute. And so I think that the same rule that you have generated for Twitter applies to the blog because that's what you're updating daily, and that applies to Facebook or other social media that you're sharing. It really ought to be about information that's given freely that you find interesting, that you think other people will find interesting.
Yeah, and look, it's very difficult to get your head around this if you're a business owner and you've got strong needs to make income today. But social media is a social experiment. It's a social place, and it's a different way of promoting yourself. It's not ads on the TV with big glossy ads with loud music throwing ideas at you. It's here I am. I know my stuff, and if you need to know more, here's a freebie, and here's a link to my paid products. Start with the freebie, get to know me, trust me, and then we'll work together. On a bigger project for you. And remember, I've got a mortgage to pay, and I've got kids in school, and a car that needs to be serviced, and I've got to put food in my belly, food on the table for my family. So don't use me up. But here's a freebie to say, I know what I'm talking about. Here's a bit of a trust builder. Then when you need to know more, here's a link to what I do, to my band's profile, to my my photo shoots, to my acting abilities, to my dancing, to my such and such. So it's a way of moving people up the line. And I talk about this in entree, main course, dessert. Entree is the teaser, the freebie. The main course is, this is what I do mainly. This is my my bread and butter. And then the dessert menu is, if you want to know more, here's my gourmet product. The 5-star version of me, the Ferrari. If you really want to go deep, it might be a VIP day, it might be a signed copy of the album, it might be a behind-the-scenes look at one of my photo shoots, it might be, here's me on set, come and be part of the sort of family. It's one of those gourmet products that, only a select few get to see. So you've got like 3 steps. The bread and butter is where you do most of your work. The entree is the freebie, and the dessert is, look, you want to know more? You're really into this? Let's go deeper. And you're right, it applies not only to Twitter, but it applies to blogging and social media and marketing in general, doesn't it?
It does. Well, now today's marketing, I think, and by that I mean by the social media marketing, because internet marketing would be an entirely different approach that is truly about you selling your product or you selling yourself using search and driving people to a conversion, meaning they've clicked, they've purchased, they've gone down through the sales funnel. And that is different. But when we're talking about social media marketing, where you're talking about not to be a resource and not a salesperson, it does add credibility, it adds authority, and it does create trust, and it makes you a place people can go to for more information. And that does, over time, develop into a loyal fan or follower, and possibly on through to someone who's buying a ticket to your concert or buying your product off your shelf. It's going to translate eventually if you're doing it with authenticity. I think it's so important people remember that that they have an opinion and they have experience, and that's what they're putting out there. They don't want to be milquetoast. We've said this when we were talking about blogging in our other tutorial on blogging. You don't want to be milquetoast. You want to have an actual opinion or share something, but without being like overtly offensive either. So I would agree. I think that's a brilliant first point. And I wanted you to then comment more on the bio that you talked about.
Yeah. Well, I'll put 2 and 3 together because they do go together. Write a strong bio, add a photo. Now, there is significant evidence to prove that if you add your own photo, you will get more followers. Because people trust, oh, there's a picture. She's cute. She's nice. He looks professional. He knows what he's doing. I trust him. I trust her.
Yeah, can I interject then that this is so important, because I do say this to my clients as well. I said, don't use, ideally you can use a logo, but with a photo, what we're talking about here, this personalization of branding, this personal branding that you're doing for yourself, that photo has to look professional. So you swigging at a beer with your frat buddies would be the wrong type of photo. I know it's so self-evident, it's so obvious, why state it, but it's surprising, especially the younger people, how naive or how much they ignore the fact that a photo leaves such a first impression, that if you don't take that opportunity to make that a really good photo. I've seen people with photos on LinkedIn that look like they're mugshots, at the police department. And I'm thinking, really? That's the photo you chose to create your LinkedIn profile? Are you serious? I don't understand what you're trying to tell me, because
I absolutely get this 100%. And, so a lot of what we say that is self-evident. It's amazing. And I actually apologize in advance if a lot of what we're saying is so self-evident to you that you're offended. Most people don't get it.
No, they don't.
We have to reiterate. Most people don't, it's like ironing a shirt when you go to an interview. It's so self-evident. Have a shave, polish your shoes, brush your hair. It's obvious. But the amount of people that don't do this stuff is astonishing to me. And the idea of a professional photo fits into that category. Brush your hair, have a shave, polish your shoes, and
smile. I think they need to smile. I've seen people just look like they're glaring at the camera, and I think that maybe it's not a smile, but a flattering photo generally comes with a smile as something sincere. And I've also seen people put up their wedding photo where they've just gotten married, and I think, I know you're proud of that and you look very happy, but again, not a professional photo. So it goes into another extreme. You don't have to be doing something crazy and inappropriate. You can still have a inappropriate in and of itself photo, because it doesn't reflect the persona that you're wanting to convey. So if you're a dancer and say you're a ballerina, I think you should put in one of your best ballerina photos in, what's thought of as an extreme pose, and if it's fully on point and with your leg fully extended, whatever that might be, that would be an indication right there when someone looks at your photo, this person is most certainly a ballerina, and they look very good in this photograph, and that agrees. But I just
It's
think
part
that
of the
agreement.
branding experience, you know, like, of course, you don't want a 2-star version of you having a beer at a party. But on the other hand, you don't want to do nothing. You don't want to do the egg.
Right. Yes.
There's significant evidence to prove that if you don't do at least something, you just won't get any followers.
That's right.
I know this for sure. I just don't follow people back. I personally don't follow people back who haven't gone to the trouble of at least putting a graphic in.
Exactly. I feel that they're spam. I think that there's something that is not transparent or authentic when I see someone following who, like you said, didn't do anything with the favicon and change it out so that the not a favicon, the gravatar, that the gravatar just ends up an egg or whatever that generic graphic is. And I'm thinking, that is so lazy. That is the antithesis of what you should be doing, that I can't be bothered to wave back.
That's the opposite extreme. If you do nothing, I can guarantee you, if you do nothing, you have really major trouble getting people to follow you back.
Mm-hmm.
And this happens to me every day. I get 20, 30, 50 followers every day, and I've got to decide, we can come to this point in a minute, I've got to decide who to follow back.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't go to the trouble of putting in your graphic, then I won't follow you back.
Right.
So if you put in a graphic because you don't want to put in your photo, and this is completely up to you, because a lot of people don't want to put in a headshot, it's up to you. There's good evidence to suggest that's better than nothing, but there's really major evidence to prove that if you put a photo, there's a trust builder there. You know, a trust builder. Hey, that's Keith's photo. He's a cool dude. I trust him. Nice smile, cool eyes, funny teeth. But real me.
Mm-hmm.
The real me. Okay, well, there's Keith, and that's him, and that's what he looks like. Good, bad, the ugly. I trust that. So it's not about showing off. It's just about saying, well, here I am. I know what I'm doing, and follow me back, and let's have a chat.
Well, how long should the bio be then that accompanies the photo?
Well, the bio quite literally is the same as a tweet. It's 140 characters.
Wow.
So you've got to be really sharp there.
Yes.
But, the idea of a strong bio wraps around a couple of ideas. One is you've got to, this is Twitter 101, you have to put in a link.
Mm-hmm.
This is why it's so important to have a home base. Just
right.
for instance, and this happens to me every day, you come across this really cool band, you think they're cool because they look cool, and you think, well, okay, good, I'll go to their site, and there's no link, I can't find them. I mean, you've gone to the trouble of following someone, and you want them to follow you back and come to your gigs and buy your songs, and then you don't give them the chance to actually hear your songs, and they've got no idea of knowing whether or not you are cool or funky because you've got nothing for them.
Well, when we're talking about an environment that is instant gratification, very short attention spans, and instant impressions, you can't afford not to make it easy for people with one click to find you, because they're just not going to spend the time trying to search you. And if they do, they're going to be frustrated and annoyed, thinking, well, why should I do all this work?
Yeah, let's assume that everyone in the world is a nice person and wants to help, but, and this is the key point, are very busy. Mm-hmm. Now, I tweet 10 times a day for other people. I want to help you. I do. I want to help you. And there's been times that I've come across really cool material that I just cannot share. There's no share button on the blog. There's no link on the Twitter page. Mm-hmm. And I think, look, I might give it 10 minutes, depending on how cool I think it is. This is really important. This is a good friend of mine, or I know this person. I'll make an effort. And after about 10 minutes, I think, well, come on. I mean, I'm busy. I want to help you. You should make it really simple. Click and go. Mm-hmm. Here's a cool gig coming up for my friend. If you live in San Francisco, here's a cool friend of mine that's got a band gig going on, and wherever the stadium is there, please go and share it with you.
I want to add something here. I would like to add something here too, because when I talk about building websites and I speak with my clients about building presence on the web, the first thing I want to iterate time and time again is to add those social buttons on all of your internet space, where if that's your blog, your website, or any of your social networks, you need to have those social sharing buttons so that people can, when they find you on, say, the website, be it versus that directly of Twitter, that they can go straight to your Twitter and hit follow. And it's back to making it easy for people to find you on the web. And I would agree with you. It seems so obvious that why would we say it? Because it gets forgotten all the time. People think they're making it easy, and then they don't go the full measure.
And one of the things I'm very, very proud of, Chelsea, about what we're doing here with this show, this series of videos, is that we have been doing this a very, very long time. And some things that we take for granted are very new for people.
That's a good
point. So this is why I keep reiterating things, and I'm so sorry if I'm overkilling it if it's obvious to you. But remember, this is a big product, and thousands of people around the world are going to be eventually logging into our really cool marketing and membership site. So I'm trying to cover a large field of people that might be just starting. They might not have a blog. They might not have a YouTube channel. They may not have even heard of Twitter or be using it. And so I want to cover the ground and lay the foundations for people